Okay, welcome back. Let me ask again. Little notes over here on the side. Have you ever been handed a group of new students, opened your materials, and thought, well, that's not going to work at all? Or maybe you've got five engineers who all need to run client calls in English, or a group of teenagers obsessed with TikTok who could not care less about textbook grammar drills. Or maybe, like me, you've been dropped into corporate training gig and the client says, literally, we just want communication skills. And you're standing there with this blank stare. And that moment can feel very terrifying for teachers. So here's the truth: designing your own custom course doesn't have to be impossible. In fact, with the right process, it can be one of the most empowering things you do as a teacher. Hey there, it's Kelly, and if you're here for miracle fixes, shiny classroom hacks, or whatever today's buzzword is trending, yeah, not gonna happen. What you will get is real talk about English teaching, teacher training, and the chaos we actually deal with in ELT. So let's get into it. One of the biggest mistakes that teachers usually do is they stand there just blank staring at a course book and be like, well, what am I going to do now? Or even worse, they'll go down the internet rabbit hole of trying to find worksheets. I don't even know what you can find on the internet anymore. So, why this happens, we've trained teachers in the past. I'm not saying me, I'm just saying in the past. I think this is kind of like we have this train of thought now that we think in terms of units and syllabus and rather than actual learners. And I mean, it's not the fault of anybody in particular. I'm just saying this is just kind of a trend. So most custom courses should start with people, not pages. That's where it starts. So let's say you've got some mid-level managers here in Brazil, because that's where I am, so that's what I'm going to use. And they're preparing for international conferences. This is super common. This is like the profile of almost all of my students. And their need is not specifically grammar. It's presenting an idea clearly, answering questions on the spot, networking over coffee, maintaining their professional reputation in a second language, which is a big one. So, what do you do? Well, first, you need to talk to the learners. You have to ask them questions, you have to interview them if possible, but you can't take too much of their time either. You gotta find a balance. So you gotta ask them, what scares you the most in English? Not what do you think you're the best at, what scares you? What scenario scares you? And then you'll be able to pinpoint what their weakness is. Or what would success look like to you in English? Because then usually they give you a model or like some sort of image of what they need to be able to do. That doesn't necessarily align with what they need in their course. This is just kind of, you're getting under the hood. You're trying to figure out what's going on with them. So then you have to build this profile, what they want and what they need based on what they're telling you and your analysis of the situation. It's not always what the course book assumes. It's what the student is telling you, and then you kind of Frankenstein things together. So anyways, this becomes your roadmap. This is where you have to start. And like one book, I'm sorry, is just not possible anymore. I don't think it is possible. The way and the rate that things are changing nowadays, I just don't think it's possible. So the book is just one possible tool. It is not the driver. Let's make that very clear.
Super quick, I promise. If you're looking for a teaching certification, specialization, even a micro credential, Bridge EDU is a solid pick. And with my link, you get 10% off any course they offer. Check out the link below and let's get back to it.
Okay, so once you've got that, my recommendation is to build modules, not not topics. Like you have to build a module around a task. So once you know what the learners need and what they want, and you have to tell them, here's what you want, but here's actually what you need based on what you have to do, like performance wise. Here's the next pitfall. Teachers default to vague topics like business English, advanced grammar, in the meeting. Like topics are trash for me. That's a bold statement. I probably will rescind that later. But for me, topics are trash because every module or everything that I do, like lessons or kind of these little units of lessons that I put together, it's always around a task. Like I want the students to do something. Okay, so you got to build around tasks. And I'm going to say that one more time. You're going to build around tasks, real life actions that learners have to perform. Looking at my notes here because I'm just going to say this over and over again. Build around a task, not a topic. Okay, so instead of a unit that's like presentations, create one called pitching an idea to your boss in 5 minutes. Or it could be to your boss or to a client or something like that. I don't care. Instead of email writing, try chasing a late report without sounding rude. It's like such a small tweak, and it's really going to change the way that you're developing your lessons. Why? Because these tasks are measurable. Students know if they succeeded or not. Because you can see, like, if I say chasing a late report without sounding rude, I'm going to be like, hey, this email sounds rude. Like, task not completed. Let's try again, right? And you can design the activities backwards. So what language, skills, strategies, what do they need for that task? So I always start with, what are they going to do? These are the things. Okay, this is a list of things that you told me that you need to do specifically. So here's the task. And then I'm going to build all of my little modules off of that one task. That's how I plan the lessons. This is me. This is not the universal. This is not the standard. I'm just giving you ideas. Step 3, keep it flexible and iterative. Did I say that right? Iterative? I think so. Anyways, here's the dirty little secret. Your first course plan will not be perfect. Welcome to teaching. First, there is no perfection. Second, you're not going to achieve it on the first swing, yeah? So the learner's needs, they evolve and priorities shift and attention spans fluctuate and you're going to have to adapt. So you think that I'm going to build it out. Don't. I'm going to tell you right now, unless the student is a robot, you're going to have to make adjustments along the way based on their performance. Are they doing it or not? It's like these little check-ins. So like I've had mentees before. Oh, they didn't like the way that I said it. Maybe my delivery was off, we could say. But they said, well, like I want a full course for the full year. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a disaster. How do you know how the student's going to perform in the next 8 months? I don't know. Are they going to be able to do this or not? Am I going to have to adjust or not? I can have, a roadmap. These are things that I would like to achieve. Here's the steps to get there. And here's how they're measurable. But if the student's not achieving those things, then I need to make adjustments. Like that's just how it is. So instead of aiming for like, this is the finished plan, this is what we're going to do, unless you're selling them that. If you're selling them, I'm going to sell you this package, I'm going to sell you this plan. That is a completely different thing. I'm talking to people who have students who are kind of like, they have no determined period of time. They just want to learn English. They want to improve, and they kind of stick around for a few years. You know, the private students that just kind of hang around so they can get some decent results. Those students. If you're selling them a specific package, then you have to deliver. This is a specific package. This is pre-programmed. Everything is just, this is what we're going to do. And if you're able to keep up, great. If not, we still have to get through because we only have 3 months to do this. And okay, if that's what you're selling, that's what you're selling. I'm not selling that to students. I don't sell that to students, but all right. So you gotta build in some checkpoints. So like for me, it's like every 4 to 6 weeks, I review with them what's working, what feels off, what do we need to add, what's going too fast, what do we have to go back to. It improves the course, honestly, and it also kind of builds trust because I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I think this is a general theme of my personality that I just don't sugarcoat things. So the learners feel heard. Like, hey, I can't do this. This, I feel super confident. This, I'm good. We don't need to go back over this. I'm fine with this. But this, we got to do that again. And then the course kind of stays alive. It's not fossilized and like, I'm going to use the dirty word here, traditional, I guess, the traditional courses, because everybody's trying to get away from traditional courses and bashing I think it's not, the traditional courses are not bad. It's just that they were fixed. They were good roadmaps, but the roadmaps were completely inflexible. Like if there's construction on a highway, you got to go around it, like figure it out. You got to kind of improvise, and that's where they kind of failed a little bit, I think. So let's recap. Wrapping this up so it doesn't take too long, little bite-sized pieces of PD. Here you go. So start with the needs, not the materials. Always start with the learner. What do they need? What do they want? Those things sometimes do not align, so you have to have that little nice little conversation. I can make another episode about that if you want. To build modules around real tasks, not around topics. If you have a topic, make it very, very specific, like I gave you some examples about, and keep it flexible and keep it iterative, meaning let's go back. Is this working? Change this, move that. Okay, great. And then continue on every 4 to 6 weeks. That's what I do. You don't have to do 4 to 6 weeks. It depends on how frequently your students are studying with you. So designing a custom course doesn't mean reinventing the wheel. You can Frankenstein your course together. I'm not saying that you have to create everything from scratch and from new. No. But the origins of the course do not come from a course book. It means aligning what you teach with what the learners actually need, which sometimes they are confused about too, by the way. And trust me, when you do that, the learners actually notice. They do. They're more engaged, they're more motivated, and they are starting to use the English that you're teaching, which is the goal. Yeah, yay. So if you want kind of like a full roadmap, then there's a couple options for you. This is like the commercial moment. I do teacher mentoring. So if you want to pop in and check in, every month or a couple times a month, you can meet with me. We'll sit down, we'll look at specific students, specific plans, and we'll plan it all out together. And I can help you along the way if this is something that you're interested in doing. I am an affiliate for Bridge, and one of their micro-credential courses is called Designing Custom Courses. So that is available through my affiliate link in the description. This way you can kind of sharpen your skills, serve your learners a little bit better. They're very quick, short courses, so it's not something that's going to consume too much of your time, but you'll be able to get quite a few takeaways that you can implement right away. And with my affiliate link, you get 10% off of the course. So, options, people. You've got options. All right, that's it for today's episode, I think. So go design something brilliant. And until next time.
That's it for today. If you want more, I've got binge-worthy playlists right here on the channel. You can also grab some resources at kellypenningtonelt.com, Instagram at kellypenningtonelt, and yes, even LinkedIn, where I do my best impression of being professional. Links below. See you in the next one.